Now let's continue to work on the cab of the vehicle by adding some thickness and generally finishing out the top of the door. Alright, so I want to come in, and the first thing that I want to do is add a little bit of thickness just on the edge here, right on the top of where the door is. So I'm going to go ahead and select a loop, and I want to come back and go to selection, roll out here, and let's just add to our loop selection. I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to hold down Control, click on the little arrow, and make sure I come kind of all the way back. And I don't want to go that way, so I'm going to go ahead and just manually select that edge. Okay, and I'll select this one as well. All right. So what we need to do now is kind of extrude this down or duplicate this down. So I'm going to just hold down Shift, and we'll just pull this down, just pull an edge down. So something like that, and maybe we can do it one more time. All right. Now one other thing that you might want to do is to add geometry across here. So to do that, it's not going to follow the loop correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and select the loop as far as I can get it. Okay, I'll go ahead and select it this way, all the way up there. So basically until it changes direction, right? So we want to come around here. So I'll go ahead and add just run connect on that. Use the connect tool, and just add one nice and close to the edge there. Okay, we'll say OK to that, and now we can come in and manually fix this up. So we'll select this this ring. Go ahead and get to my selection rollout here. Okay, and that's fine. We can select that, and then we'll go back down to connect, and this time we'll move it over to the other side. All right, and that's going to be okay. Now we can go ahead and use cut to connect these two vertices rather. And then grab those vertices and just weld them together. Okay, so we'll go down to weld, make sure that our threshold is set high enough and that we have enough points selected. Okay, so that's going to help us get kind of a nice tight edge as we go around the top here. And then finally, we want to do the same thing kind of up here. And so this is just, again, a lot of this is just adding resolution so that we can, when we smooth this, get a nice tight edge. All right, so come down to cut, and let's go ahead and just cut across here. Okay, and let me go ahead and hit Alt Q to isolate this so we can see how far down this actually goes. So if I select a vertex and then just zoom extents on that, we can get up nice and close here, and then I'll just take the cut and come straight down, just like that. All right, and then we can take these two vertices right here and just merge those together. So we'll grab both of those, and we'll do a weld rather. Okay, and so that'll give us a little bit more tightness, and we've got some geometry coming down here. So we'll go ahead and exit isolate mode, and now we want to start adding to the door here. Now, one thing I want to do before I add thickness to this is to actually add the flag here that the rearview mirror was going to attach to. This is going to be a good opportunity to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and select these edges, hold down Shift, and just pull those down, and let me just rotate that. Okay, and that's going to be close enough as far as where that is. Let me go ahead and go to perspective here and just move that out towards the door. Okay, and I need to rotate that. That's fine. And just move that out. So you end up with something like that you can use for that flag. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just detach that. So detach. We'll call this flag. And now we want to add some thickness to, for instance, this door frame here. So again, you're probably getting used to this. What are we going to do? We're going to add some resolution along the edges just by selecting the ring. We're going to go down again to connect, add 2 segments, take that slide down to 0, and we'll use our pinch to bring it all the way to the end. Okay, and this, we only have to do this once because of the way that topology flows, right? We don't need to worry much about the bottoms. So let's go ahead and add a shell modifier. Go down to shell, and you can see that we've added a little bit of thickness in there, which is what we want. Alright, so for this guy, we're going to do the same thing. This is going to be a little bit more complex. We want to actually add edges all the way around here and all the way around there. So again, we're going to look at where this needs to change direction. So it's going to be good up until this point. So we can go ahead and just connect right up there. So right along there. Okay. You can apply that. You go ahead and select these edges here. You can see that's applying the last settings. We need to actually change that over to the other side. And we want to make sure actually that we don't select that last edge for this one, for this particular one. Okay, we'll say OK, or rather apply. Okay, let's go ahead and select this guy and move this back over. So as you're changing your edge selection, you can see that that's being applied to whatever selection you happen to have after you hit apply. So we'll go ahead and hit up these, and I just want to move this out just a little bit, give it kind of a little bit of breathing room, apply that. Same thing down here. You can see where that's coming out. So go ahead and move that up. And for this, and then we'll say OK. And we can't forget to go in and merge those later. Now for this, I'm going to select this edge and go ahead and just go up to my selection and select the ring going in the other direction. So I want to go this way, all the way to the end, and then we can do a connect again. Okay, and this one's going to be kind of right in the right spot there. Okay, let's also do one right up here, and we'll do just a simple ring selection, and then add one for the sharpness on that side. Okay, so right in there. Okay, so now we just need to connect some of these vertices up here before we add our thickness. So we'll go to cut, and draw across there, grab those 2 verts, and let's weld them. Okay, we'll go down to weld, and I'm just going to kind of move that up and out of the way just to maintain that sort of width there. Okay, same thing over here. You can see if I grab both of these and do a weld, it's not really going to do much for you. So what we want to do is cut this, connect it first. And then if we come in and do our weld, it should work. Okay, so then I'll pull this out, pull this up and over, and then we just have a few more vertices to connect. Okay, these right here. So we'll go to cut, connect those up. Okay, and now let's weld those together. There we go. And one more right down here. Again, we'll go to cut, and it's getting a little repetitious, but that's all right. A lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing is going to be a little bit repetitious. Go ahead and weld that together. There we go. And I'll just pull that out. So what that's doing is creating edges so that when this smooths through here, okay, when the smooth comes through and looks at this, it's going to have a nice hard edge because it's smoothing from here to here rather than from all the way back here to here. Okay, so that's the reasoning behind what we're doing here, is to add some hardness to those edges. Let's go ahead and on this flag here, just real quickly, go ahead and add some resolution to that as well. So we'll do ring selection, just do connect real quick, 2 segments, no slide, and using pinch, we'll go ahead and move that up. And then 1, take off the pinch, and that should work fine. Let me go ahead and do the same thing down here and slide that over. Say OK. All right. Oh, and I didn't actually apply that correctly. So let me go back and do that real quick. Go back to connect. Make sure you hit apply or OK before you select and get a new selection. So now if I apply that, then I can go in and select another one. If you don't apply it, it's going to just apply it to whatever the most recent selection is, which I think was my problem there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add some thickness. Again, I'm going to go to the shell modifier. Just hit S, and you'll go down here to add a shell to that, just to add some thickness there. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit thicker. And let's grab the door. Okay, and the door we've got going, and I think that's, I'm going to increase the thickness of that just a little bit to match it up. And on the top, let's go ahead and add a shell modifier to that as well. So now we're kind of back where we started. We've got some thickness here, but we were able to do some modifications to this geometry, which it was much easier to do before it actually had any thickness. You can see we missed a couple of verts down here. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I cut those and just weld them together real quick. Got 2 vertices selected. Go ahead and weld that. You can see we can do that while our shell has been applied, and it's no big deal. Just maybe move that over a bit. Okay, so we've got now thickness added. Thickness added to our large piece here. Okay, and thickness also added to the door. Now when we're done, we can go ahead and collapse this. Yes. Collapse that. Yes. And down here as well, I'll go ahead and collapse this. And if you want to, you can wait and collapse that later. Just make sure that you've got everything you need. But we're starting to get all the pieces put together and getting some thickness in there. The next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and add the rocker panel down on the bottom. So this kind of a straight piece that comes across before we come in and start to cut out the door, we'll add that panel down at the bottom. So go ahead and do that next.